Now we're live. Alright, well welcome back to episode 17 of the Rectification. I don't quite know how we got there already.
What the heck?
I know, right? Are you like, what do you mean 17?
Do you know in December we'll be playing for a year?
I know.
Such a big number.
Officially played with each other like since what, October?
Yeah, actually. Wow.
It's almost the 1 year anniversary.
Oh my gosh.
We're getting close to it. It's not this weekend, is it? Like, we started in October.
It was October. It was, I think, the weekend before
17.
Halloween last year.
Yeah, so it was late October.
So next session, it's the
Next
1 year
session.
anniversary.
1 year.
Ooh,
Jeez.
that means I have to plan something special.
Kebumpkins,
I was about to say, somebody needs their kabumpkin.
I still have the freaking fear sock puppet. I've yet to use
We
it.
do have the fear sock puppet from our Halloween one shot. It was all fun though.
It
So,
was so fun.
anyways, I don't think I have any announcements. Gen Con has come and gone. Calgary has come and gone, where Val was presenting. I'm sure did a phenomenal job. I don't think we have any other announcements. I guess the next biggest thing is the Rolling for Charity stream in November. Which, well,
It's in November.
It is in November.
Oh, it's getting close.
It's getting close, we know.
Oh my god.
We know. As the person who hosts the stream, I know. As the tech department and the PR department at the moment,
Hey.
I know.
No pressure, you'll be great.
No pressure, it's fine. We did it last year. We raised over $7,000. We can do it again this year, right?
100%.
Yeah. Anyways, but I think that's our next big thing is working on that. But last we left off in the Rectification, our lovely party, after kind of being suspicious of the nice people of the town, were given some trail snails, which are these large mounts that echo the stats of horses, and were sent on their way to Orlick to go deliver them to their rightful owner, as they had been brought by a different party into town that now needed them dropped off somewhere else, and so our lovely party has decided to take them. However, on your way to Orlick, on the side of the road, laying down face first in the dirt, was a very pathetic, weak, and sad old man that had basically given up on life, as you picked him up and realized that he could not see due to something that Cersei discovered is sight rot, something that has blinded this individual entirely.
Foreman.
Wow. Amazing. Snails and Chokers. I will rename the title.
That is so good. It
That's
fits. It fits so right.
it does fit, but I just wasn't prepared to look off in the chat, see Snails and Chokers, so I was like,
There it is.
there. There it is. Snails and Chokers it is. I'll have to rename the episode. Ava looks so proud of herself.
So self-satisfied.
Sorry.
No, you're
Right.
not.
Don't worry, it's the
No,
best
you're
thing.
not. Don't be sorry, it's okay. But you were able
Best.
to pick up this old man out of the dust and the dirt and put him on a trail snail and leave him on a trail snail by himself because you weren't quite sure what the vibe. I like how Raven's like, what do you mean he left him on? They did. They put him on a different trail snail, and then two of you were on the same trail snail because they were suspicious of this old man. And they were worried that he might stab them or hurt them or something else, so he's on a trail snail that is attached to another trail snail.
Did
You're
you
like-
even insight?
I think we did.
Yeah, he was basically just really sad.
Just a really sad fella.
Oh dear. You guys are so mean.
So you left this poor old man on the trail snail alone.
Snail! What could be better than that? A giant snail.
You're on the giant snail. He's blind. You can't even enjoy being on the giant snail.
I was like, if you're like, what do you mean we're putting him on there? He's blind. He cannot drive a snail.
You can't drive a snail. No, Cersei was not very pleased with that.
We're
Cersei's not-
leading the snail. It's all good.
It's fine. We're leading the trail snails. It's fine.
The snails
But
can do no.
currently, you all are on the trail with your snails and a blind old man
On the snails again.
On snails again.
Oh dear.
Traveling to Orlok on the snails again.
Wow, this is some feral energy.
Snails
Complete
with our
mood.
friends.
Well, can I do the thing that I told you about, Ivy?
You may 100% do the thing that you told me about.
Raven then realizing again, she's we'll say that she's a little out of it and like has been daydreaming quite a bit.
Yeah, you just watched as your party put you're currently riding a giant snail in a group of your party, where they then found a blind, upset old man who'd given up on life in the dirt, and you watch as they put him on a singular snail by himself. It's been kind of a strange day so far, honestly.
Yeah, complete mood. At this point, Raven then goes, she has a tendency to sometimes forget what spells she has and goes, oh, and I'm going to cast Speak with Animals on my snail.
Speak with snails.
Speak with snail.
Speak with my snail.
Speak with snail. What
Speak
color?
with snail.
Remind me, Raven, what color of snail
Red.
you're riding. I'll also pull up our image of our lovely trail snails here.
Trail snails. I'm so excited for this.
They're so cute. So you cast this spell. You cast Speak with Snails on the snail. On this very large, beautiful snail for what it is. Like, the shell that you're riding on is currently shiny, and the lantern on its back is just swinging gracefully, and you're just enjoying riding your snail when you realize, I can speak with this snail. And a wave washes over it as it seems to recognize the fact that you can now understand it, as its little eye stalks just start bobbing up and down at different times. And you realize it's speaking to you in Morse code, however, you are fully able to comprehend what it's saying to you. And what it originally just says is, hello!
Oh my god.
Hello! You're beautiful! What's your name?
Speak with snails. Speak with snails. Oh, speak with snails. My name's Valley. It's nice to meet you. I hope you're enjoying the ride. I'm trying to make it nice and smooth for you.
Oh, you're doing a fabulous job. You're doing a fabulous job, honey. I was just wondering if you could tell me about your Boren. Is he the one that looks after you? Normally.
Oh, Boren, yeah. He's the one that looks after us. We've been over in the other town for a little while because a bunch of adventurers took us from Orlok to there. But that's where we normally stay. He's nice enough. I think you'll like him a lot. He's good to us.
He gives you lots of lettuce?
Do you have any lettuce?
She like fishes them out of the bag and like produces some.
And he just starts happily munching upon this lettuce. Just crunch, 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 crunch. It's now lost all train of thought that it had, as it's just sitting there crunching on this lettuce.
Only thought is left.
She'll wait until like the snail has like finished eating, and then she'll just start asking general questions about like, because I'm assuming we said that Raven hadn't really been to where we're going before.
No.
Orlok, no. So she'll just start asking general questions of like what the snail remembers about Orlok and like what it kind of looks like or like how big it is.
I'll tell you what, let's roll for the intelligence of said snail that is currently happily munching on lettuce. Actually,
How distracted is my snail?
You know what? Since
The general attention span.
Are we witnessing
so what the
Raven
rest of you are currently seeing? Yes. Yeah, so what you're currently seeing is Raven excitedly talking to the snail, and the eye stalks on the snail bobbing up and down in different rhythms and motions, then happily munching on this large ball of lettuce that was currently produced to it. And Raven was sitting there quiet, patiently waiting to ask more questions, and then going off onto another series of questions as the bobbing of the eye stalks just starts up again. Alright, let's see. Let's.
You missed us, Ivy. We know you did.
What? What? I just love the trail snails. Okay, let's see. Since I see our lovely Jordy in the chat, we'll use the dice that Jordy got me at Gen Con. Or, well, handed me. That was it was like the last packs from the ice cream sandwich giveaways. So
Nice.
so we'll oh, it's actually really smart.
How smart is this?
A 15 in intelligence.
Oh, that's pretty smart for a snail.
Pretty smart
Dang.
snail.
Smarter than me!
Oh no! All right.
Dumber than a snail, no!
Oh no, I'm sorry, dear.
Raven is very happy with their snail choice.
So,
Your
as
snail
you're-
of choice.
so what kind of questions are you asking this lovely snail?
Raven's gonna just basically try and ask because she's thinking of like, okay, what would a snail like pay attention to? So she's asking about.
Odin!
Hi, Odin. Welcome in. Hi, guys.
Hi, welcome to my snail TED Talk.
I would say welcome in. Currently, Raven is talking to a snail.
We're talking to trail snails.
We're talking to trail snails currently.
They're wonderful. They're great.
They're the most precious thing.
Shout out to Odin, who's wonderful, and we love him dearly. As well as all of the beautiful, beautiful raiders, because I recognize some of you.
Perfect time to come in. Perfect.
I would
time.
say Odin says we love snails, so we
love
do.
it.
We're
Not quite Pokemon, but you know, I'll catch all the snails I can.
Ooh, there we go.
Here we are.
All right, what are you asking the snail as it happily is munching on its lettuce, finishes off the lettuce, and then its eye stalks are bobbing back and forth as it's talking to you in this Morse code that you're now understanding.
She's gonna ask for like, first of all, like how big is the city and how big is the farm?
Okay.
And then she'll ask general questions of like, have you seen? Is there any interesting things that you've seen in and around your travels? And then the last question she'll ask is like, what was the last party that rode you from Orin to?
Oh.
Oh.
Oh. Very interesting. Okay. All right. So your first question, it kind of will give you generalized answers about Orlick, as normally it does stay on the farm unless it's being ridden by a party.
Yeah.
But it'll tell you that the city is always bustling and busy. Adventurers of all sorts come in and out. Kind of something you expected, since you know that Orlick is kind of the founding hall of where the Adventurers Guild is. That is where like the main adventuring groups go to turn in quests or go to get quests, or even to begin the ranking in the Adventuring Guild. So
Yeah.
he'll tell you a little bit about the different adventuring parties. Like he'll go on to describe barbarians with large weapons, and he'll tell you about elves with all of these beautiful, intricate bows, and just seeing maybe some humans. He just goes on to tell you generalized descriptions of kinds of creatures that he's seen.
Okay.
Going into more of like what the farm is like, he can give you a little bit more information there, and goes on
Yeah.
to tell you as he's like bobbing his eye stalks in different rhythms to simulate this type of Morse code about like the vast amounts of lettuce, and how there's dozens upon dozens of other snails of different types and kinds and colors and ages and breeds that he's grown up with or been raised up. This is his specific group. This group of snails that you're currently riding with is what he is most familiar with. So he can tell you more information more about each of the other snails, and will go on to do so. Like, oh yeah, this one really likes this lettuce, but this one really doesn't like lettuce. Like this one likes cabbage, and we'll just kind of give generalized random facts about the rest of the snails in his own party.
At this point, Raven just like kind of vaguely shouts out things at other party members. Like,
so-
hey, Cersei, your snail likes cabbage.
Yeah, exactly. So Cersei, you now have the information that this blue, beautiful blue, almost translucent snail that you're riding is a lover of cabbage. And you realize that it actually has some of the cabbage that's in the packs for that specific
Right.
snail.
And she's gonna like start digging through like the pack of like snacks, going, "Where the heck is the head of cabbage?"
Which you're able to hear. You just hear munch, 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 munch as you hand it to it. It starts crunching on it.
Like patting its head, just so freaking happy as she's riding along. Just
Pat, pat.
the best snail, goodest of snails, most
Bestest.
beautiful of snails.
Bestest of snails. Just
Bestest
words of
snail.
affirmation to the snail.
Affirmation and adoration of this precious, precious snail.
So then, Raven, as you're conversing your own weird language with the snail, you ask about the previous adventuring party that had it. And it describes a group of adventurers who were actually on their way to a festival of sorts, as far as he's aware when they were writing and talking amongst each other, that they were going to a festival, something about celebrating your truest self, that just being yourself, something about just loving each other, and you just remember this specific snail will say that one of the characters was braiding different ropes together the entire trip and giving them to different people, that they were rainbow colors and pinks and blues and purples and all types of these different colors of different flags as they went to some type of festival.
Like and you said it like a celebration of being yourself and
Yeah, something like that. It was something like, yeah, they were just braiding, they were giving them out to gifts. I think I still have one somewhere. I think they may have left one. They were leaving them all over the place.
Oh, okay. Was this all about, loving each other and celebrating our differences and
Yeah, something like that. That sounds familiar.
would Raven be aware of a festival like this?
Yes, you would
Yeah.
be. So it is similar in this world to a pride festival. However, due to the nature of what a pride festival celebrates, it is more widely accepted, and so it's more of a self-celebration instead of a specific pride. There's not a reason for a pride festival because there's not homophobia. So, but it would be this world's equivalent of a pride festival. Something that happens in a couple of different towns you've heard of different times. This one specifically sounds like it was one of the major ones happening in one of the major cities.
Got it. Yep. At this point, Raven will converse back about her own experiences because I'm assuming she'd have attended one at some point.
Oh, absolutely. If not directly, she's absolutely gone through one. Raven's familiar with this, absolutely.
Yeah, she'd be like, "Oh, you the one where everyone dresses up and they wear really fancy outfits and has a great time, and it's the best time with all your friends."
That one, yeah. They were going to that one.
Yeah.
He'll just converse with you as this is happening. This entire time, this old man that's blind is sitting there hearing all this, having no idea what's happening. As he's just sitting there quietly, kind of just hunched over on this snail as it follows the rest of the snails being led on.
Who's leading the blind man snail?
I believe it was put on Talus's, correct?
Was it?
Yes.
I believe it was Talus. So
Okay.
I don't know if it was my snail or Coraline's snail, but I know that Coraline and I are riding together.
you two are writing together, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, Raven will just spend her time basically until the spell ends, chatting up with the snail and answering if there's any other interesting tidbits about the other snails, the other snails' proper names versus escargot.
Escargot. It's escargot.
She'll relay that to the other party members just to
Amazing.
kind of be like, hey, just FYI, and maybe give them a little lettuce. They really enjoyed, except the cabbage. Seriously, cabbage. Did you find it?
Oh, you 100% found the cabbage.
I have a mobile above here, and my hand went up and just whacked it. I'm like, please fall from this.
Trail snails are too exciting.
Please don't hurt me.
The best time with trail snails.
Let's go.
Perfect. So, Rutherford, what are you doing while you're on your snail, listening to Raven now shouting out snail facts as you're pretty easily able to figure out what's happening? You just see that the snail has suddenly become much more animated in its reactions as it's bobbing its eye stalks, and Raven responded you're aware of what's happening, even if you don't necessarily have seen it.
Well, you've seen me talk to what was the other one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rattlefer is actually just kind of in his own mind space right now. He's got a lot on his mind. He'll sort of pick up on the fact that, like, oh, cabbages, whatever, like, we have treats that were meant for them. So he'll feed his snail maybe occasionally, but for majority of the time, he's actually staring at the parchment that he got from the cartographer and looking over his notes from his journal. But that's majority of, like, where his head is, and just sort of thinking on being moved to the complete opposite side of the country and everything, and just
So close to something you don't want to be so close next to?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Never. What?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Never.
But yeah, he's
I'm
just
sorry.
sort of just thinking a lot right now. Not really much for conversation or anything. He's also like really, like, kind of weirded out. He's like really skeptical that this snail can handle him because he's such a huge wolf. But like, he's confident, but he's also like,
Snails
don't
built
make any
different.
he's like, don't make any like large movements or adjustments. I don't want to hurt the snail, but
Oh, Snail seems to be trucking along just fine.
yeah, he's just very much in his head right now.
Okay. Alright. Talus, anything that you'd like to do?
Yeah, I'm gonna chat up with Marvis.
Oh! Alright. What are we asking our lovely
Well,
blonde?
yeah, I mean, we kind of just dumped this man on
Correct.
us.
You kind of dumped him on the snail and said, okay, cool, we'll take you to Orluk.
I guess I'll just start asking a few questions. I can't recall exactly what we asked him last time, but
That's okay. Anything that you want to ask. If I repeat myself, that's okay.
okay. So Marvis,
Yes.
where were you going?
Well, and I'll reiterate this specifically. He left Orluk and was wandering around because he got lost, so he gave up. He just laid face down in the dirt and gave up till either somebody came and found
So
him.
where was
or
he
got him.
heading?
He didn't know. He lost his sight and couldn't see, and so he just kept
He
walking.
just wandered out of the
Yeah.
town with no purpose?
Yeah.
Oh,
This poor man.
can I insight check that?
Absolutely, you can.
I feel like we did this last time, but I'm
That's
doing
okay.
it again.
That's okay.
15.
Yeah, no, he's being completely honest. He had literally given up
Okay.
on everything.
This poor man.
Okay.
Even if you double check this, Raven wasn't paying attention, so Raven is now like going, oh. After chatting with the snail, she'll try and vaguely pay attention to Talus's conversation.
Great, beautiful.
Do you have any family, Marvis, that we can maybe let them know with a letter that you're sick and that you might need help?
I don't know where they are. They're adventurers themselves. My son, the young man, kind of ran off in his day, whatever. I don't quite know where they are, so I don't know where he would send a letter to.
Well, we're not full adventurers, but I would consider us a pretty adventuring party. If you tell us what your son's name is and we come across him, we could definitely let him know.
You're a adventuring party? I mean, I understand the snails. Like, I get that these are, like, I kind of, as he's patting, like, the shell of the snail, trying to kind of get a feel of where he is or what this is. And he's like, I get the mounts, but I guess it's kind of adventure-y, but what do you mean by kind of adventurers, but not really adventurers?
I would say that we're a fresh party. We're fairly new. But yeah, I would say at this point we're adventurers. We're just a fairly new group.
Are you going to Orluk to be titled?
Is that what we agreed on?
Sorta. That's kind
Talus
If
suddenly
you guys
panics.
if you guys are wanting to get that title, that is one of the options of things that we can do whilst we're there. Majority of
Correct.
it
It
is
is
looking
not.
for
It is not me saying you have to. That is not a. It is a choice. I'm not gonna. Force
It's an
you.
option.
Yes.
She'll say, well, I don't know if we really need to register, but
Okay, well,
we're definitely out and about adventuring. Do we need to put a title to it?
I guess not. My son's name is Henry.
fuck off you again.
Henry. And what does he look like?
Oh, tall, blonde, a lot of freckles, kind of like me. And you realize, like, maybe in his prime, but not currently. As this is a very old man who has crow's feet and wrinkles, everything. Who maybe once in his youth, maybe was a very dashing young man, but has kind of been overtaken by age as well as this ailment to his eyes, which is making him look older than he was, as well as frail and fragile, having laid out in the sun, giving up on everything for a while there.
He's an elf, right?
Yes, he is. He's a very
He's an
dramatic elf.
Oh, then he's old.
Yes, he's very old. If you can see the crow's feet in his eyes, he's very old.
So we're talking a couple hundred years?
Correct.
An elf.
Henry. Got it. And is he...
Oh, he's a half elf. His mom's human.
Oh.
Gotcha. Well, if we run across Henry, I will definitely let him know of your situation. If it happens.
That would be nice.
We're bouncing around places a lot recently.
It's all the way of putting it.
At this point, Raven is gonna try and charm Armin and go, Marvis, do you know Boris, the one that breeds the snails?
I don't know him. I know of him. He is kind of hard to miss. He has a lot of snails.
I'm ready.
Understandable.
Wait a second. You said that your son is an adventurer. Are you an adventurer as well?
Oh, in my prime, I've not done that for many decades.
Many decades.
Yeah.
Were you around when was it Loyal Steel?
Yes. You like
When the Loyal Steel was around?
Oh, those young adventurers, they didn't know what they were getting into. Ugh.
What do you mean?
Well, with the whole siege on Demore, like, that was a mess. Absolute mess.
Did you know that?
Maybe I met them once or twice, but not know them.
Hmm. Okay. And now just keep riding my snail. I'm so poor.
Sorrowfully ride snail.
How can you be sad on a snail?
How can you be sad on a snail? So, is there anything else you want to do before I proceed us forward into this? Okay.
No. Cersei's probably just has her snail pretty close to his, just in case anything goes weird with him, he falls off or anything. Just like, there's a sick blind man on his snail. I gotta make sure he's not gonna knock over.
Did you at least strap his feet in or something?
No.
I don't know.
At this point, okay,
Cersei's
Raven's gonna
keeping
look
his eye
over and
on
see if they're
him.
actually like, now that she's like, wait, I should actually be paying attention to this man. She's gonna look and see if they've strapped him in or not.
Oh, absolutely not.
You probably.
Okay,
come on.
at this
We're not
point,
that reckless.
she like looks over and goes,
You gave him the reins. You did hand him the leads and tied him, like, the other snail off to the
Why
other
are
one.
we like this?
Like, it's not like he's not holding on to anything.
yeah, at this point, like, Raven pulls up beside Cersei and goes, should we give him some, like, leg strappings? I know, like, these aren't the most, like, no offense, Valley. You can, probably would be a slow tip, but he could still tip over. Should we go and give him some extra support?
I didn't know if that would freak him out. You know, if he
Marvis,
can't-
do you want some extra leg support to help you balance?
No, I'm fine.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. I'm fine.
I'm insight checking.
Okay, insight check.
12.
Insight checking the old man.
I'm inside checking if he's just being like, yeah, I'm fine, and you're like, oh, okay, is he actually?
Oh, he's 100% putting up the front of, I used to be an adventurer, I'm fine.
Okay, cool. At this point, she'll try and like get Talus and Coraline to like stop their snail, and then we can actually like be like, okay, like let's grab some rope. Let's like, Marvis, I know you're fine, but this is gonna make me feel better. And last thing we want is the slow tip off of a snail.
Seatbelt,
And-
so we can be safe.
And I'm really like, I'm not that comfortable riding my snail myself, so I might like strap my own legs in too. So, she's trying to convince him that like she's doing it
Roll
also.
me a persuasion check.
Talus is absolutely rolling her eyes right now.
That'll be an
Off to one side,
18.
like, oh my god. 18? Okay. Oh, alright. So, you're going on. Like, come on, like, I might even do it. Like, I don't even feel safe on my snail. Eventually, he's just like, fine, if it'll make you feel better.
It will.
And he'll let you.
And as she's like, okay, she'll go, and I'm assuming like in the snail's packs there's extra ropes and
There
things
is. There is.
yeah, so she'll like as best as she can, and she'll probably like because Coraline's we know has like ridden horses before, right?
Yes, Coraline has ridden horses.
So she'll get Coraline to kind of help her and be like, okay, kind of like I know vaguely how to do this. Help me with the like strapping his leg down, and then she'll start just like general chatting about like, oh, like where did you go as an adventurer? And to Marvelous.
And he'll just kind of babble on about some adventures he had in his youth as you start tying, and eventually he seems to ease a little bit more as you're talking to him and getting to know him a little more, and not just like, yep, we're throwing you on a snail. But eventually he kind of does open up a little bit more, and you do find out him and his wife used to be in a party together, fell in love, had a son, and they retired. And then he kept aging, and she eventually passed, but with their son being a half-elf, was around a lot longer than him, and he just has kind of done whatever since, and doesn't have a lot in life at the moment. But he goes on to tell this very sweet story of how he met his wife, and just kind of babbles off about it for a little while, and realizes that he's going on and on and on, and is caught up in the story as he's off. He's like, oh, sorry, I get a little lost in the moment sometimes. My bad.
It was beautiful and lovely, and let me get back on my snail, and we'll get on our way, and you can keep telling me more. And as soon as she'll get back on her snail, it's like, and then she looks at him and goes, I know you can't see it, but would you mind if I pulled out my book and wrote down your adventure? It sounds lovely, and it'd be worth
you don't
telling
want the
other people.
adventure of an old man like
I do.
No.
I really do.
All right.
Everyone has a story.
Roll me persuasion with advantage.
Okay. So cute.
24.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. So eventually, as you're like, no, like really, I really do want to hear about this. Like, I do want to hear your story. He'll kind of like sigh, but you can tell like he's not that upset about it. As he's just like, okay, all right. So it all started when, and he'll launch into like the very beginning of how he became an adventurer, and you discover he is actually a ranger. That he would go hunting out in the woods, and eventually came across a large shambling mound that he faced off against, and realized he had a taste for adventure, and eventually met his wife, who was a druid, and they ended up together. They eventually formed a party, had a cleric and everything else, and she ventured with him for many years, and then they settled down and retired because that's no life for a son, and lived her life happy until the day that she passed away, and now he's here.
Raven is like dutifully and making sure she's getting like details, because she is realizing this is like probably a story he doesn't think is worth telling, but she thinks is like very sweet and endearing.
Just by the face, on like the look on his face when he's talking about it, he doesn't think it's worth telling. But even with a passive perception, even with all of your passive perceptions, the moment he mentions his wife, he gets this little smile. Something you haven't seen on his face this entire time, as he's been suffering and blind.
Yeah, so basically for whatever we're going, Raven is going to keep like asking questions, especially about his wife after seeing this, and she's writing this down, and she is formulating a beautiful bard's tale coming.
Aww. And there you go. And eventually he'll end telling the story.
That's so cute.
And I'll just kind of get a little quiet, like, but like I said, it's not worth telling.
Oh, no.
Would you all roll me perception checks?
Perception. Fun. Nito Dito.
Nito Dito.
No.
Just, no.
No.
I love that. Amazing.
That was a natural 1.
Oh, really?
So
Rat
that's
is
plus-
in his thoughts.
That's 3.
Sight rat. No.
Yeah, I don't see shit. I'm engrossed in
Amazing.
whatever.
Amazing.
Falls asleep on the snail.
Right? That's the 1, right?
Okay.
Very much the opposite. 26.
Oh, okay. So we have 11, 22, 1, and 26. Cool. Okay. So.
1.
1. So.
Bless my dice, man.
Rutherford, you are staring intensely at the parchment of the individual that you've got previously drawn. Your eyes are tracing over the lines. You are etching every detail into your mind. The rest of the world has fallen away entirely from you, as this is all that you can think of, this is all you can see. And you don't realize the rest of the party, as they're looking around, has heard some shambling off to one side in one of the tree lines.
Whoops.
But you yourself are entirely lost in the visage of somebody lost to you. Also, shout out to the Library of Lost Tales for subscribing for 8 months. I can't believe we're here already. Thank you, Azur. Everything else in your world, Rutherford, has fallen away from you. This visage is the only thing in front of your mind. This is the only thing that you can think of. The rest of you, I need you to roll a history check. Everyone but Rutherford.
History. So much worse at that.
It's okay, I'm not good at history anyways.
Very well.
That wasn't that great.
13.
13? Okay.
7.
And 10.
Oh.
13, 7, and 10.
We're so good.
Cool. Okay.
We notice shit, but we don't know what it is.
I have vague idea. It is a thing and some stuff.
A thing and some stuff, and then you hear a loud screech off to one side of the tree line and a deadly roar that you've never heard before and you don't recognize.
Do I hear the roar at least?
You do, and in that moment you are snapped entirely out of that trance that you yourself have put yourself in, gazing at this parchment, and you quickly furl it back up and stuff it in your bag as this very loud screech, you think? You can't quite tell, because this is not something you think you've heard before. Rutherford, I'll let you roll a history check now that you've snapped out of it.
Scary.
Much better. Okay, +1, dirty 20.
Ooh. Ooh. Alright, so. Oh, I also need to roll for our blind buddy. 10. Actually, he would have disadvantage. Alright, well, it's 10. Alright, let's see here. So, as you are writing on your large trail snails, Ralford snapping out of that visage and looking into the direction of this very large, ferocious sounding creature, you look over to see something that a couple of you have never seen before. Ralford, you have seen them maybe once or twice. It's not a common occurrence for you, but just knowing the type of predator this is, you're aware of what it is. As you look over, and dragging the carcass of a deer is a very, very large owlbear off to one side.
Oh shit!
Owlbears.
I would like to say my previous character in a very old game definitely tried to make a owlbear their pet.
Don't we all? Don't we all?
Owlbear.
Oh. I wasn't riding on a snail already.
When he snaps his head up and immediately hears that, immediately he'll just utter to whoever's around him. He'll like look up and be like, "That was an owlbear. That was an owlbear."
Yeah. Okay, we have a brute coming up.
And
Oh?
Owlbear. No, just kidding.
this is the last thing you want to do.
Run! No. Run down hell in zigzags.
Exactly.
Evasive maneuvers! Evasive maneuvers!
Bumper car snails, let's go.
Just say bumper car snails.
Bumper car snails, you gotta dig it.
Oh my god. Okay. Alright. Anyways, so
Can the
however,
snails
Alfred,
see
as
it?
you
Can
look
we
over
get
and
that?
see the visage of this owlbear, you realize it is not as cute and cuddly as some of the other ones you've seen, as this one has razor sharp talons that are just covered in blood from this carcass of this deer that it's currently getting ready to consume. And then it looks up and sees you. As in front of it is currently 5 snails and
The force is
6
attacking.
people.
Shit.
So tonight's game is going to be a little bit different. There are a couple of ways that you can go about this. You can either, because I've given you the stats of your trail snails, which mimic that of horses, can use them as mounts to attack the owlbear, or we can run a series of athletics and dexterity checks to see if you can outrun it.
Fuck off.
I will leave it up to you guys of how you want to handle the situation. I'll give you a couple minutes to talk amongst yourselves to see how you would like to handle the situation. There is still a chance that it can catch up to you, depending on what you do. So I'll let you guys visit for a second.
Okay. Bears versus snails, let's go.
Owlbears.
You have a 60
Owlbears.
Owlbear versus snail.
I believe I sent you the stats of your horses previously in the Discord chat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
60 feet.
Yeah, I'm currently looking it up.
Yeah, that's what I'm going. I was like, let's go see how fast we go.
Gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast.
Yes. Gotta go.
I believe we are faster
We're faster.
at 60 feet. I think we can try to outrun it, but if we run away,
It's gonna be coming from behind us.
it's gonna be coming from behind us.
But we have a few of us that can do ranged.
Yeah,
spells.
I was gonna say that. I paused because I'm like, should I be saying this in character or no?
Here, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna give you guys a couple of minutes. I'm gonna
Uh-huh.
take my headphones off, and I'm gonna let you guys
Okay.
figure out what you're gonna do.
Shit.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Sure. Okay.
That's cue for Ivan wants more coffee.
Kind of sounds like
all
it.
the all the
Okay.
coffee. All the coffee.
We can try to outrun it. I believe,
right.
if I remember correctly, seeing as how my history check gave me a dirty 20, I think this would fit. Owlbears have a speed of 30 feet, I think. So if we try to outrun it, we can just have our ranged spellcasters just pew 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 pew. I have
Right.
Witch Bolt and Firebolt.
Well, also, if I can land like a blindness spell on it,
True.
Well,
and it'll have
we-
a much harder time coming after us, unless it
Can
has.
we also like
It's got-
distract it? Like I have minor illusion. I could just like make
Yeah,
it
you
think
can
there's
What
another
if
dude.
you what if you
Somewhere
minor illusioned another owlbear?
Oh
I
yeah.
could do that.
How a minor illusion is what, 5 feet tall?
Minor illusion. Range area 30 feet by range is 30 feet. Area is 5 feet.
Yeah,
So 5 square feet.
I think owlbears are taller than 5 feet, but you could also minor illusion some sort of like more appealing prey?
Well, like he has a deer, so obviously he likes deer. So it could just be a
Does minor
wounded
illusion-
deer, and he could go for the wounded deer.
Yeah, which would give us at least 30 feet to get up and then keep going. Yeah, I'm voting for not fighting this thing if we don't have to.
Yeah, I don't want to have to fight this thing.
Yeah, because
Does
both
minor-
Coraline and I would have Eldritch Blast too, that we can just keep hewing
Right.
away.
If we want to start with minor illusion with a wounded deer running past us, in front of us, but in its point of view
Ooh.
running elsewhere.
Yeah, if it runs away into the woods away from us, then that
Does
way.
anyone
hopefully...
have thaumaturgy to make it sound like? It's
That's what I was asking. Like, does minor illusion only make visions, or does it make sound?
It's only vision.
Damn.
It's only yeah.
Yeah,
I can make a sound with minor illusion, but I can't at the same time do a visual.
I'm saying, like, instead of a visual, what if you made the sound of another owl bear off in the distance, saying that's coming in on its territory, and might be more interested in protecting territory?
I like
do
the
I know
deer.
what owlbears sound like?
Yeah, I like the
Wait,
minor
which one?
illusion. Yeah, I like the minor illusion of the wounded deer, and if you put it into the bushes, like it comes from behind one of our mounts, that it basically wouldn't have been in its line of sight anyway, and then just kind of like limps its way into like other bushes.
yeah, away from us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then
I
we
think
can
that's-
just
We bolt.
yeah.
We kick an
Cool.
entire bird out.
Good.
I
Yeah.
think we got it.
Okay.
We use the
Alright.
plan.
All right. So, if you all will roll me initiative and how the order this is going to happen.
My dice don't like me today.
Same.
Y'all can put it in the chat for me.
Oh god,
This is going to be fun.
Well then,
this is not good.
I was gonna say it was like okay, I rolled like okay, but like oh good, someone's before.
Someone's got it, okay, but not the person we need to go first.
No, that's a
No.
problem. I'm not
so
much use.
excited to see what you guys have come up with. I was like, we're missing a player today. Let's have a tactical challenge.
Dice gods, please make Ivy's dice roll low on initiative just this once.
Just this one. Let's
Yeah.
let's see. Let's see. You guys can blame Jordy for that one.
Excellent. Wonderful. Love it.
All right. It's not bad. This is going to be an interesting lineup, I will say. Cersei.
Yes, it will.
I'm curious as to see how this goes out. I was like, we need something to do this evening? Tactical challenge.
Make life choices.
Make life choices. Okay. Well. Okay, so let's see. 10, 13, 9, 19. Cool. So how's everyone feeling?
Great.
Just an
What's
owl
that
bear.
one TikTok sound? Yeah, I am not feeling good.
I thought you were gonna say that. Lugo, how you feel?
I'm not feeling good. It's wonderful.
So Abby with a 19, Belle with a 13, Talus with a 10, and Battleford with a 9. 5. Okay, cool. Good to know. Alright. This is gonna be an interesting time. Jordy said, you know what's more powerful than owlbears? Family.
Family. I am
100%.
not feeling good.
Feeling good. Alright. Perfect.
Oh,
So,
Jordy.
Cersei, you are first up in initiative. What would you like to do? Currently, it is 60 feet from you. It has just emerged from the woods. Claws still sunken into this deer carcass as it is gazing across where all of you sit.
Right.
What would you like to do? Currently, it has not moved yet.
Since it is 60 feet away, and I don't want it to be closer, Cersei is going to reach out her hand and she's going to cast fog cloud around it to try to keep it blind from us.
Amazing.
So she's going to create a 20-foot radius sphere of fog centered around it.
Okay.
Probably a little bit more in front of it, so it has further forward. It's hard to see, and it's just like murky, like marine layer fog kind of comes up.
Amazing. All right, so you cast this in front of it as it seemingly disappears in this slight misty sensation as it's cast in front of it. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
Nope, the area is heavily obscured, and
Yes, it is.
we're bolting, so we gotta move.
Okay, perfect.
Cast the spell,
Alright.
goes.
The next up in initiative is the owlbear.
Man, my
Dang it.
Oh. Oh no!
So, the owlbear is going to charge into the fog and stop a couple feet inside of it as it's looking around. So it is 50 feet from you now as it has charged kind of into the midst of this fog. Val, your turn. What does Raven want to do?
Raven is going to get her Snail positioned between Owlbear and Marvis, and try to basically, yeah, I'm gonna do this. Marvis didn't have any weapons on him, did he?
Marvis did not have any weapons on him. The only things that he was wearing was like a cloth shirt and trousers, as well as his shoes.
yeah.
She basically, and like, she has normally like a dagger strapped to her leg, and you know, in case of emergencies, pulls out the dagger, and as making sure that her snail's as close as possible, puts it in Marvis's hand, and goes, just in case, Owlbear, but we're gonna try and run.
What do you mean, owlbear?
Owlbear, 50 feet behind us, we're going forward.
Okay, as he's sitting there clutching the dagger like this between his hands.
Poor man.
Amazing. Alright, is there anything else you'd like to do?
And then basically using my reaction, if the owlbear breaks through before we start moving as a group, she's Eldritch Blasting.
Amazing. Alright, ready for your action. Eldritch Blast.
Yep.
Kind of.
If I can do that, and also hand my dagger off.
Yes, I will allow you to since you're writing that action. You're not actually performing it.
Okay.
So you sit there with just the Eldritch Blast kind of crackling between your fingertips and across your knuckles
Yeah.
as you're waiting for it to just
Just
come
a little bit
busting
of
through.
red energy.
Yeah, just a little, like just a nice little glow. Talus, you are next up. What would you like to do?
Okay. I'm gonna say bucket, and I'm gonna go, and in the same time, I'm gonna cast Minor Illusion, and I'm going to have passing like right behind us, and waiting for the owlbear to come out of the fog. A wounded deer gallop, like kind of behind us, and then across into the bushes, kind of guiding it away from the main path and into that area away from us as we like
So
move
you're having
forward.
it gallop past through the fog. Gallop past this owlbear.
Not through the fog. Like I'm waiting for the owlbear to come out of the fog, so I have it like ready to go there. A wounded
Okay.
deer, and
Okay.
it's gonna
So
it's gonna be further ahead.
Okay, so,
so
on
that
the reaction
owlbear-
of the owlbear walking through this fog, you are having this run across. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. All right. So you are writing the action of you will have the wounded deer run across as Raven is going to Eldritch Blast.
Basically, if the owlbear looks and ignores deer, she's waiting kind of.
For
This
that.
is kind of better
You're
turn.
waiting for that
But
cue. Okay.
If he basically then like refocuses on us, that's when she's Eldritch Blast. If he goes,
Understood.
and I like you better.
And okay, got it. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Is there
It's like,
anything else
nah,
you'd like to do?
You're dealing with snails.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Coraline, book it.
Wow.
Cora's like, okay. Perfect. Rutherford, is there anything you'd like to prepare?
Same thing with that. I'm bolting, and while we're going, I'm gonna just keep my eye out. And if same thing, I'm gonna ready my action. If that owlbear does not take the bait of the wounded deer,
Okay.
he's going to cast a witch bolt.
Ooh.
Oh.
Look at you all preparing some heavy hitters. Oh, makes me happy. All right.
Actually, no. Sorry, I take that back. Firebolt because it's got longer range.
Firebolt? Okay, great.
Okay.
Perfect. All right. So, we come to the top of the round with Cersei. If you're done, Ralphard, of course.
Yes. That's all I'm doing.
Okay, we come to the top of the round with Cersei. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
Just still bolting.
Okay. How fast of a pace are you going to be? Your mounds have 60 feet, I believe, correct? Your trail snails? Because it's the stats of a horse?
Yes,
Should be
I
60.
believe so.
Yeah,
Cool.
60 feet.
Perfect. Oh, wonderful. Beautiful. I just had to make sure. Great. So, you all, Cersei, 60 feet ahead, Coraline, and...
Like off the thing of like a riding horse, that would be 60.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Cersei is 60 feet ahead, Talus and Coraline are 60 feet ahead, Ralphard, 60 feet ahead, and Raven, you moved? Cool. Perfect. Alright.
Yep.
So, the owlbear is going to continue through this fog and bust through this fog. The first action that happened would be Talus's wounded deer running across. So, let's see what they do here.
I think it has to do, if a creature uses its action to examine the sound or image, the creature can determine if it's an illusion with a successful intelligence investigation check against your spell save DC.
Okay. Alright, let's find out if it recognizes that this deer is not quite what he's looking for. What is your spell save DC?
14.
14? Okay, let's see here.
Okay.
Okay, alright,
Okay.
so
Oh my god.
you guys are never going to believe this, and you can thank Jordy later because he rolled a 1, but but it was to -4, so he actually got -3.
Holy crap!
How does that even work?
So
You have negative stat mods. That means
he
it's
just, there's not a single brain cell behind those eyes. As
He's like, dinner part 2!
yeah, exactly. As
Oh my
as it's dropped the carcass that was kind of caught up in the claws of this deer that you previously saw, kind of shakes his paws loose as he hyper focuses first on these shiny, strange blobs of color that are in front of him, and sees this deer. As this deer comes trotting past, wounded, looks hurt, and like an easy target, as his eyes get as big as saucers as he thinks something easy for him to attack, and immediately turns to swipe at it.
go 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 go.
As you all are slowly advancing ahead, however, the instant he swipes at it and realizes it's fake, his attention already directs back. However, you're now 120 feet away. So, it is now having to take its actions, or its movement, which is only 40 feet, to try to advance closer. So, it's now following, but you successfully distracted it for probably a solid round. So, you should be good there. Val, you're next up. Once you see it turn and advancing, do you want to release your held action?
No, because she's gonna try and seeing that it went for it, so we have
Mhm.
an extra time. I'm gonna keep using my movement, keep going forward.
Okay.
And basically, yeah, she's gonna keep it, that if it gets within like 60 feet, she's gonna release it, but until that point, she's hoping it loses interest.
Great. Perfect. All right. Talus, anything else that you would like to do?
No, I think I'm just gonna focus on booking it because I don't really want to
Okay.
take the time to harm it. I think we're good enough that if we just focus on doubling our action and going forward, we should
Sure.
be fine. I
Okay.
don't know if that was with snails or not. Also, this reminds me of that one video, I don't know if anyone's seen it, where this snowboarder girl is listening to Rihanna.
Well, the bear's chasing after.
And then she starts going down, and there's a bear chasing her behind her, and she never knows until later on she looks at her GoPro footage and finds out there was a bear behind her chasing her.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
All right. Well,
Did not seen this. You just share it with us later.
Oh my god.
'Cause
Okay.
I need to see this so bad.
Rutherford, anything else you'd like to do?
I'm doing the firebolt.
Okay, firebolt.
As soon as it starts going after us, it's got 120-foot range.
Perfect.
So I'm going to look back, see that it took the bait, no it didn't, and then just throw off a firebolt.
Roll me an attack, please.
Please roll nicely. That was on the floor. That was a nice d20. I have very hard tile. Okay, it's okay.
Is
It
it?
lived.
It lived. I'm gonna roll that again because
Go ahead. Yeah, go right ahead since it rolled on the floor. Absolutely.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's. Thank you, floor. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 to hit.
23 to hit. That absolutely hits.
Whoa.
How much is that damage?
I don't know. Let me get a calculator really quick because I forgot I'm bad at
What's
math.
the fly calculator?
2d10.
2d10. Perfect.
So that's 17 damage.
17 damage.
Nice.
Very
Nice.
nice.
10.
Nice.
Very nice. Alright. Is Radford saying anything when he does it? Or just kind of turns, realizes, oh no, and then shoots it?
No, he doesn't say anything. He just shoots it.
Okay, great. Alright, so as Rutherford shoots that off, kind of aim back and fire at it as it rears back and stands up on its hindquarters with its two large claws just raised. I need you all to look and roll me a perception check real quick.
Crap.
No.
They're pack animals, guys. I don't like this.
Oh, jeez.
19.
19.
Yay.
I can do basic math.
I can do basic math. D&D.
That's why I love D&D Beyond. Does my basic math for
You rolled a
me.
6, yes?
I rolled a 6.
Yes, yeah, so sorry. Val,
Oh my.
13. Okay, great. And Abby? What'd you roll?
16.
16? Okay, perfect. So the DC was 15. So 2 of you succeed. As
Okay.
you look over, having watched Rutherford send off this firebolt as it hits this owlbear square in the side of its right shoulder, and it rears back and rears its angry head. And you look over and you realize your lovely blind elf boy has somehow managed to get not only tangled in the ropes that were currently tied around his legs, but is being dragged.
Oh no.
I believe them. This man.
I rolled for it. He rolled very poorly.
I'm
As
so sorry.
Oh
he
my Lord.
is just crying out in pain, something that wasn't originally heard due to the frequency of this owlbear's large, ferocious screeches, and the idea that your snails might be in danger. However, he is being dragged as the snail continues moving.
Oh my lord.
Lordy, lordy.
Oh my
It's the same mage hand, but they could only carry 10 pounds.
I know, I literally was looking at my mage hand too. It's only 10 pounds.
Does he still have the dagger?
Is it?
Yes, he still has the dagger.
Is
Okay.
it still my turn?
It is not, it's Cersei's.
And at least she heard the things.
Help! Help! As his arms are flailing, dust is getting all over him, just making a storm of this dust around you and these snails. I have no idea how this happened. I was trying to help.
Boy, the mother. I don't know. I am not strong. I cannot lift.
I'm not strong.
I am not strong. Or agile. I am fish.
I am Groot.
I am fish. Oh dear God. Okay, alright. Cersei, what you doing?
I don't know. Can I try to like get my snail up next to him and try to reach down and it's not going to work, but I can at least try to get the man up.
Yes, you may absolutely pull your snail alongside best you can, It's hard since the snails are still moving. But I can have you roll an athletics check.
Lord, I'm so bad at athletics.
Can I give Cersei an inspiration?
How are you going? Are you assisting or giving inspiration?
I can assist. The reason why I asked if it was still my turn is because I would have jumped off the snail to go help.
Once it comes back to your turn, you can jump off. But since you realize it had happened after the end of your turn, no.
Okay. Can I verbally say advice to help her?
Yes,
or something?
you absolutely may.
Instructions.
Lift with your knees.
Use your quads.
I am not strong. I am fish.
Lift with your knees.
I am not strong. I am not agile. I am fish. Why should I have knees?
Oh my god.
My knees are surrounded by are on the.
Welcome to Cersei's TED Talk, where she talks about fish anatomy.
Did you just almost say my knees are surrounded by fish?
No, I'm saying my knees are holding on to the snail.
Right. Okay. So.
I can't live within my snail.
How did that athletics check go for me?
Not terrible.
Okay.
That is I have a +2. How the? Okay, so that's 18.
Ooh, meets it, beats it.
Hey.
The was 18, so meets it, beats it. As you ride up to this poor fallen elf who has no idea how he's ended up in these horrible situations. As you're trying to reach down, roll me a strength check as you try to pull him up.
Strength check.
Yep.
The entire time, she just boy the mother. She's just cursing like a sailor, but it's all in primordial, so nobody knows what she's
Oh
saying.
yeah, you're 100%
Just going at it how in the actual.
cursing up a storm as you're trying to pick up this old ancient elf.
I am so sad. That is such a bad number.
Oh my god.
Is this a check or a saving throw?
This is a check.
Okay. Cool. That's actually a little better than a saving throw.
Oh, good.
But that's still going to be a 5.
Oh, it's a little bit. It's a 5. Okay, so as you're reaching up,
Not great.
the athletics check to maneuver the snail over to this other snail and this fallen elderly elf who's being dragged. You maneuvered your snail perfectly as if you were in sync and able to communicate with each other as you pulled up alongside. However, as you reach down, though it shouldn't be this hard as he's frail, the flopping about that he's currently doing as he's being dragged through this dirt and this grass at 60 feet is just too much for you to be able to get a decent hold on him, as he just keeps slipping straight through your fingers every time you kneel down to grab him. So you're unable to grab him, however you are right there. Is there anything else that you'd like to try on your turn?
That's about all I can do.
Great, it's the owlbear's turn.
Great. Love that.
The owlbear's
The
gonna
owlbear's
take
out of my range. I cannot do
Owlbear's
it.
gonna take his other 60 feet of movement and just continue following at the moment. Val, you are next up. You've seen Cersei, who's trying to lift this poor frail old man with this dagger in one hand, just flailing about, and behind you is a large owlbear who seems now on the hunt. What would you like to do?
Knowing that she's strapped herself in and literally it's her fault that this guy is in this bad situation, she's going to attempt to do that whole leaning literally because she is strapped in, she can let go of the reins. She goes Valley, it's all up to you, and she's literally full on reaching for the hole.
Okay, alright.
I'm so glad I talked to my snail earlier.
Valley!
Valley! It's all on you! This Valley, just little eye stalks go boop, 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 boop. Valley is just glancing behind.
Owlbear, heck.
Owlbear, heck.
Heckity heck, I'm snail.
Am snail. SOS. Am snail.
Yeah, so
So,
I'm gonna
are
attempt
you-
to
Are you
falling.
reaching down and pulling him up?
Yeah, I'm attempting
Okay.
to
Alright, roll me a strength check.
Yeah.
As you are attempting to reach down and kind of flip him back, either back up onto the snail or pull him up, however you need to try to get him up out of the dust. as you all are continuing on this trek in the dirt. There's dust everywhere. The owlbear is slowly behind you. What'd you roll?
That is a total of a 3.
Oh,
Three
Lord,
is,
what happened to
three is
me?
not going to do it, as Valley is running as best he can to keep up with the rest of the snails, freaking out a slight bit at the owlbear that is gaining speed behind you and loses a bit of the trail as they jerk to one side, having looked back. And it jerks you just enough where you drop him again, as once again he's just flailing in the dust, dagger in hand, just like, help! Help! As you just continue.
Does Marvis get his own initiative roll?
Marvis does have his own initiative, however, he is last.
Okay. And the next person who's going next?
The next person is Talus.
Throwing some lovely inspirational words at Talus, being like, Talus, I don't know what you need to do, but be the best version of you, and throwing a bardic inspiration
Okay.
at Talus. So you get a 1d6
All
for my
So Talus,
lovely bardic words.
if that is all you'd like to do, Raven, Talus, what would you like to do?
Alice is gonna do a rogue.
Ooh. You're about to
Um,
rogue?
She's gonna.
Rogue.
If this, it's either gonna be really sad or really epic. One of the two.
All right.
That sounds like
what
you-
would you like
So,
to do?
she's gonna tell Coraline, bring me closer. I'm assuming I can do this.
Absolutely.
So she's going to grab a rope because I'm assuming I think I have rope.
You do have rope, yes.
And I'm going to flip it around him
Okay.
and jump over to Cersei's snail
Okay.
because I'm gonna pull up next to him because that's how I'm visualizing. Like Cersei's
Correct.
here,
Cersei
and, like
is
Val's here, and like he's dragging here. So I'm assuming, and actually I'm gonna jump to the back of his snail because technically I'm in the snail ahead because it's
Yes.
leading him.
Okay.
So I'm gonna jump to the back of his snail,
Okay.
lasso him, and pull him up.
Okay. So are you putting the rope around him before you jump?
No,
Okay.
I'm gonna jump first.
Okay, perfect. Roll me athletics. Or acrobatics. Actually, I will let you choose. Athletics or acrobatics?
Acrobatics for
Acrobatics,
sure.
that's what I thought.
16.
16? Perfect. Absolutely. You are able to easily jump from one snail to the other, so while you are moving fast, you're able to hold your balance. You and your shifterness, you know that you've got pretty good reflexes. So you're kind of reeling back. You're like, okay, I got this. Like, here you go, Coraline. Take control of the reins as you leap and are able to quickly clear the distance between those two snails and jump on the
I
back.
think Coraline always had the reins, so I'm just like, keep going!
Just like, keep going. Keep her steady as you jump and easily clear the distance between these two snails.
Awesome. Okay,
Next.
and now lasso.
And you want to lasso him.
Yes.
What in the roll for that? Jesus.
The Dex?
I'm gonna say a dex check. Roll me dexterity.
Just straight up dexterity?
Straight dexterity.
You
I'm
got a
gonna use my
1d6 inspiration.
I'm gonna use it.
Okay, alright, you were using the inspiration, so you get 1d6.
14.
14.
Yes.
Let's find out, shall we?
Fun.
Is not quite enough, as
No.
it's not quite enough. But you are right there. As you are able to easily clear the distance between these two snails, yelling at Coraline to keep her steady, to keep going. You jump across. Okay, alright. Watching the movement of Marcus as he's all over the place, just flopping back and forth. There's dust getting in your eyes. You're trying to kind of hold back the dust that's getting in the tears. They're starting to fall as you're trying to not rub your eyes. As you throw down this lasso and you can see it, you've almost got it. As it just barely misses.
I'm so
It
dumb.
just
I should have
almost
used
slips.
my mage hand.
As it just barely slips, as the movement gets a little more sporadic as he hits a couple of rocks and just bounces harder than you anticipated. He's like, ow, 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 as it just continues down. It was a very good attempt. You are right there, and so if you were to attempt again on your next turn, you can absolutely do that.
And
Is there anything else you'd like to do?
How well is he attached? Like, I'm assuming he's just like his foot is just like dangling there. Like, if I pulled that
rope?
would it like? Does it look like his foot might slip out of it?
If you were to pull that rope, he would most likely undo it, and he would tumble.
So I'm just gonna prepare to attempt again next round and probably use my mage hand to help.
Perfect. All right, Rutherford, what would you like to do?
Firebolt.
Firebolt. All right, roll the hit.
One's gotta hit the thing.
I do like that you're like, you guys get him. I got this.
Well,
Hey,
I
there's
had
3 of
an
us on
idea,
it.
But I'm really low in initiative, so it's not.
Fire.
Fire.
18 hit.
19.
18.
18. Yes. 18 does hit.
don't.
That's 18 damage.
18 points of damage. Amazing. All right. So, are you saying anything, or are you just kind of glancing over, seeing what's happening? Like, they got this, and you just continue making sure that this is going down?
Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
say something.
Okay.
If you don't get him under control, I am jumping off of this snail and fighting this thing myself.
We have no more room on the snail. There's too much on my snail.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Rutherford.
Can I announce if this continues that my next turn will have a frenzied attack?
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Perfect. Cersei, if Rutherford is done, of course, we are back to the top of the round. What would you like to
Great.
do?
Oh, poor Marvis.
How close is this owlbear, by the way? How close is
Actually,
he?
I must get Marvis's turn. Marvis is not strong, and he's trying to pull himself up, and he's just flailing there. I just rolled. It's not high. Marvis is not doing well. How far away is this owlbear?
Yeah, how far away
You
is the
guys are
owlbear?
still moving, so it's falling further and further behind. It's still moving up. It's 40 feet every turn, but you guys are staying 60 feet ahead of it, so it is not catching. And you've noticed, you out of the corner of your eye, having watched Marvis as he's flailing about, have caught Rutherford, making sure like the lights and the colors of that fire is bouncing, and you're catching glimpses of it. You've been with Rutherford long enough to know this is probably him taking care of business, as you're just like, okay, I got this.
Right. Okay. So the bear's like, not the owl bear is not within like 60 feet. Okay.
It is not in your direct vicinity where you have to worry about it.
Cool. Yep, gonna try to reach for the fella again.
Okay.
Gonna try to yank him up.
Roll me strength.
Yes. My worst stat.
All of my characters' worst stat is strength, I think, except for my barbarian. It's okay.
Strength is not her highest thing. Lord, okay. Not 9.
It's not enough, as you're reaching down, trying to get like, okay, there's a couple of us that are working on the situation now, I'm not alone. I can see it. Rutherford is taking care of that. I don't have to worry about it. I just have to worry about this. And you reach down, and you just barely miss him again, as he's just flailing and all over the place.
Ach du lieber!
Is there anything else you would like to try or attempt?
I got nothing.
Okay, if you don't.
I cannot lift, I cannot spell. I don't know.
Okay, alright. That's not a problem. Next is the owlbear, who's going to continue his movement. He is not looking great. He's growling. You can see as he's pulling back his canines and his gums as he's snarling. And you see he raises himself up to his tallest height that he possibly can, which isn't quite as tall as Rutherford, but still pretty intimidating as he's broad. And he locks eyes with Rutherford. And you can see that this is an intimidation. This is a attempt at proving they're the alpha in the situation. Rutherford, you immediately recognize the energy. You know exactly what that is. But he's looking pretty rough. You can see that wound that you previously left on his right shoulder is starting to ooze more and more, and the other hit that you just left across the chest is also starting to darken their feathers and that fur, as this almost seems like a last-ditch effort as they're trying to intimidate you and scare you off of this is my territory. And you recognize that as this is behavior you're familiar with. You recognize that. Val, is there anything that Raven would like to do as you're watching? You kind of glance over, see the standoff between these two.
Can I growl back at it? I can't get my thing to work right now.
You
But I'm
absolutely
growling back at
You
it.
100% can growl back at it. Yes.
Overhearing Rad taking care of business, she is attempting to fix the problem that she wholeheartedly believes she's created.
All right. And what are you doing?
Again, she's two-handing him, just trying to, like, pull him up.
Okay, roll me strength.
Come on. 10?
It's not enough. As you reach down, attempt to go, you see Cersei just barely miss. You've seen Talus just barely miss with that lasso. You're like, okay, this time I think I've got it. And you hear that growl, and for just a split second, your attention is just focused on Rattleford and what's happening over here, and you just barely miss that lift as he drops. And
I am so sorry, Marvis! Dallas, do it! And, like, she sends another wave of inspiration.
Alright, so as you all look down, you realize Marvis is unconscious.
Oh no!
As he's just flailing about, dagger loose in his hands, as there's just not much of a grip there anymore. Is there anything else you want to try?
At this point, she is literally gonna try and, like, go, Valley, slow! And, like, is starting to slow down.
Okay. Valley, whoa! Slows a little bit. Still a little sketchy about the owlbear that was previously behind them, but kind of glances back with an eye stalk and is like, oh, it's far enough away. Okay.
Yeah, she's trying to slow just so she can, like, realizing that she's probably not going to pull him up, that, like, let's start slowing down so he doesn't die.
Okay. Perfect. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
Nope, she sent her bardic inspiration to Talus.
Cool. Talus, you are up. What would you like to do?
Alright, let's do this correct this time. I am going to use Mage Hand to wrap the rope around him.
Okay.
And I'm holding one part of the rope.
Okay.
I'm trying to think if it would be helpful for me and someone else to pull him in, because I'm not going to be strong enough to pull him in by myself. So if I do this, and then hand the rope to someone, like either Cersei or...
You can talk to your party members, and I will let you, however you describe it to your party members, whoever you are asking, I will let you have their help on this roll. As an act, like as a bonus, I will let you employ the help action by one of your party members.
Okay.
So however you would like to go about that, I will let you have it.
What does am I allowed to know what the strength of my companions are?
Hi, your strongest one is dealing with the owlbear.
Your
probably
strongest
your
one's
best.
currently in a standoff with an owlbear.
And Raven just pulled herself back, so Raven's now following, so probably your only option is Cersei, because Coraline is driving your stand.
Okay, so I'm going to have my mage hand. I'm going to give it the rope. It's going to wrap and go so that we can pull him up, because she's right next to me,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
Essentially.
Yeah. So you're
Pull
able,
him up.
Okay, you're able to
So-
Both sides.
go around, hand the rope to Cersei as you want to pull him up. So now roll me strength with advantage. You have Cersei's help, as Cersei is also trying to help lift him up, and he is dead weight. So.
Inspiration. -1. 17.
Perfect. You beat the DC by 1. Alright, so... Alright, so, as you do this, you're like, okay, like, this man is now unconscious. I can see that he's not doing great. He was already frail. He's being, like, dragged around to the dirt. As you're like, Cersei, like, help me with this rope, as you throw it. And you're able to work together as a team as you both lift him back up onto the snail. He's unconscious. He's kind of heavy in your arms, but he's up. He's not being dragged anymore. As you just see he's covered in dirt and dust is getting all over you. But you kind of like check his pulse and everything else, and he's alive. He's just unconscious.
Great.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
Cool.
Is there anything else you'd like to do? Bonus action, anything like that?
Can I cut off the line that of
Yes, I
the
will. Absolutely.
other?
Yes.
Okay.
As a bonus action, I will let you cut it. Yes. Okay. Talos, you realize that you and Cersei got him. You quickly cut that line.
We got him.
Anything else? Okay. Rattleford.
Rattleford doesn't see any of that.
No, he does not.
He jumps off the snail and full movement sprints to the owlbear.
Oh no.
In a few feet, he casts off firebolt.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do that first.
Okay.
Just to make sure that I can.
Yes, absolutely. Do so.
My heart's beating so fast. No fucking way!
No!
That's a
What?
natural 20.
That was a natural 20.
That is a natural 20. I will
Natural
show you
20.
On
Let's
the dice.
go!
Natural
Okay.
20 on
Okay.
firebolt.
On Firebolt.
So
Amazing.
that. Do you want me to roll 2d10 twice?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, roll me, because your base is 2d10.
Yes.
Roll me your 2d10 and then double that damage.
Okay, so that's 22 to begin with.
Ooh, look at you.
And then as the okay, so Rattleford's just full sprinting and he casts this firebolt and it's right at the owlbear's face, and as it just in its face, he jumps up with his sword and he just like full in actually no, he's gonna jump up and slice upward into the heart of the
Ooh.
Straight
owlbear.
across. Okay.
Yeah,
Alright.
with the
Ooh.
greatsword. So I'm gonna roll for that.
Okay, roll me your greatsword attack.
And that is a +7 to that, so that's a 23 to hit.
That absolutely hits.
And then that's okay. That's +4. That's an extra 13 damage.
13.
So
Okay.
35 damage total in just that. And he's gonna growl at its face as he just shoves that sword up there.
What is the look on Rattleford's face when he takes that jump off of that snail and starts bounding up to this owlbear? What is the look that he currently has on his face?
He has just this determined face, snarling. He's got a little bit of the foam coming out. He's just, no, I'm done with this sort of attitude, and just jabs it.
So, the three of you, technically 4 and 5, Coraline included, as you've helped our lovely elderly elf back up, and you just hear the sound of Rattleford jumping and hitting the ground and immediately take off in a sprint as he runs up to this owlbear, snarling fire as well as this blade. You hit him square across the chest, burning deeper into those feathers as you watch as they slowly start dissipating and just vanishing into ash. And then you come up behind it and you follow it up with just a slice through the heart, twisting it a little bit, growling in their face as their eyes just go white. And you're holding them there. Are you pulling your sword out?
Is it dead?
Oh, it's dead.
Okay, so if it's dead, on the initial hit up, because he's jumping up into it, it's actually gonna make the owlbear fall back. So if everyone sees it, he's just got this blade in
Okay.
this giant owlbear, and he's just on top of it, and then he will rip it out, howl in just all his fury, and then just sort of stand there like.
Oh yeah, it falls and crashes to the ground. There is earth and grass and dust that just comes up around you, and a show of just strength as Rutherford hits it and lands on top of this elbow, and a large, resounding howl echoes against the trees. Even the snails themselves kind of stop dead in their tracks as they weren't anticipating to hear such a sound emanate off of one of the party members that's currently here. For a second, everything stands still as Rutherford's like, okay. As you look over and everyone is just
See that everyone stopped. I'm like, what are we all staring at? Did you get him?
Slightly out of her stutter, Raven just goes, oh yeah, and like quickly unstraps herself and then goes and slaps a hand on Marvis, casting Cure Wounds.
Please say you actually slapped him.
So, well, it's gonna be like one of these like full like, okay, I'll make sure I'm touching you.
Full contact.
Casting Cure Wounds. So that will be of lovely. Marvis gets 16 points of healing.
Cool. Okay. Alright. And Marvis, having taken some damage and some heavy hits with some rocks to the head, some rocks to the back, and some just dust, and that scraping of earth across his bare skin as he was just constantly dragged. His eyes flutter as he looks up. Oh, I thought I was dead.
I am so sorry. This is all my fault. I am so sorry. I will not. Oh my god.
No. It's fine. It's fine. I've been through so much worse. It's been a long time since I've had that much excitement. Did you kill it? As he's looking, he's like, wait, is it dead?
I wish you could have seen it. And like Raven will just start glorifying like Radiford's like epicness, and knowing she basically did not see it, she like just like full on like exploitative, like makes Rad sound like 100 times cooler.
As
What he just did.
Slight ego boost from that. I'm just
as
saying.
he's just sitting there listening, just staring off, like completely enthralled in what the story that Raven is telling, which is mostly true, as you're embellishing it a little bit, just a little, but he just seems completely enthralled in what you're telling him. He's, wow, you definitely should be an adventurer. Can I take it back?
Can I do a thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Do a thing.
Can I bring the owlbear with us?
I was waiting to see what you were going to do with that.
Into
That's-
town?
yeah.
I would like to see if anyone in town can make the owlbear pelt a new cape or something. I would like to wear that.
Are you taking the entire owlbear, or are you skinning it? I asked just for the weight.
Do we have time for me to do that? Because the skinning and the draining and all of that is a long
as you're
process.
looking around, these snails are exhausted. They are kind of like, you see their eye stalks are just a little bit droopier than they were. That was a hard run for them when they're not used to seeing creatures such as an owlbear.
Okay.
You do see that you are near woods and a small pond and a nice clearing. So you do have the time if you want to discuss with your party members what you want to do with it.
In the meantime, I'm gonna drag the body back up to where the group is.
Drag. I'm not even making
You'll as you get closer, you hear like a Raven just embellishing, knowing full well she did not see every detail, but it just sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
Like
so he gets
you
to
should have
go-
seen his glistening fur and that howl and the energy just puts off.
Do we have time? Do you think maybe we should take a small rest or something? I believe that was a bit harsh on the snails. I can also make this thing a bit lighter, so that way the snails do not have to carry the weight of it.
Yeah,
I
think
We can help Marvis clean up in the pond a little bit. He's kind of
Dusty.
had a rough day.
His hair's a mess. It's just sticking up everywhere.
We can help him clean up. Let the Snail
Yeah.
take a rest and then
Yeah, we
I
can
think
give this.
a break after that is
probably
wise.
boys.
Yeah, like take an hour or so and take some time.
Breathe.
Yes.
So you are able to lead the snails, who are very happily following along to this pond, which is very peaceful and crystal clear waters. As you walk over, you can see a couple of fish swimming in the waters, and you're able to find a couple of trees and some tree stumps to sit on, and just start skinning this owl bear, as well as get Marvis cleaned up some. Which
He's
very
totally like
appreciative of.
humming along to some ancient tune, little ditty that he's singing and humming along, and he's so in his element right now. He's so used to this. So it doesn't. I don't think it takes him any difficulty in preparing this owl bear.
Okay. Alright, perfect.
We can make
Oh
fine with that.
my
It's
god.
a Fallon, but skinning is a whole different matter.
Can you just roll me a straight 20 just to see how easily like you're able to do this? I'm not going to deter the work that you do. Like, I'm going to give you your prize, obviously. I just want to see how long it takes you.
Just a straight D20.
Yeah.
15.
15? Okay. Alright, so yeah, you're able to easily, with your strength, you kind of had already made some deep incisions just with the magic that you would use in the fire. So you're able to easily cut through and start cleaning it the way that you know you need to, and dressing it and field dressing it and getting it ready for you to carry. As you all are kind of hanging around, what are you doing?
Raven is apologizing profusely.
And
to
Marvis will
Marvis.
keep patting your shoulder and tell you, no, it's fine. That was so much fun. And does not seem bothered at all.
But she'll help him like clean up
Has the
and like
best day of his
basically clean off like the road rash, and she will look at Cersei and goes, I don't know, do you perhaps have some like bandages or extra cloth on you so I can heal him up, you know? Or Talus? I don't know if you have some extra. She's basically looking for like if anyone has like I don't know if anyone has a healer's kit on them.
We don't have a healer's kit
I
now.
don't think so.
Okay. Then she'll just pull out her like spare set of like clothes, like common clothes that she has, and we'll like rip him up into dressings and make sure, and we'll offer him also she'll be like, okay, well, I know it's not. Here's a clean shirt. I'll rinse yours other one off in pond, and
Very much helping him clean up, trying to get the dirt, dust, blood, rocks out of his skin.
yeah. And as she's like trying to clean him up, she'll like then start telling him other tales of, you know, of like what Radiford's like done with like when we're fighting the trolls and things like that, of just like how epic everyone in the party kind of is, and telling about like Coraline's like druid crafting ability of like she makes really pretty like orange roses and
And he'll listen intently and just enjoy hearing you tell him all of these things about this party that he can't see. And so the vivid descriptions that you're giving him are bringing little smiles to his face as he imagines them, as he wasn't always blind. And so he can vividly see what you're talking about, even if he can't quite see it at the moment. As you walk into this pond, water crystal clear, beautiful, absolutely beautiful as you're looking in. Is there anything you want to do, Talus?
I wanted to. I look at the ground and remember I don't have a shadow.
Correct. Still gone. Still no shadow.
Still no shadow.
I don't want to interrupt Raven, so I'm gonna wait till Raven's done with her story, but then I'm gonna ask Marvis if he has any kind of, during his adventures, if he's ever come across having to deal with Fae contracts.
Oh.
Interesting. Alright, so you ask him that. I'm waiting for a break in the conversation as Raven and him are just having the conversation and hearing how nicely Raven is embellishing you all to this person.
And you know,
Yes.
Talus has this like really like awesome maneuvers that she pops out of the shadows and stabs things and disappears back.
All the time.
And then realizing Talus is standing there, she's like, oh.
And you ask, just what? How exactly do you ask? What exactly do you say?
I say, Marvis. Marvis. It's Marvis, right? Not Marvin? It's Marvis.
Marvis.
Okay. Marvis, since we're pretty new at adventuring, we're coming across a lot of interesting things. Do you have any experience with Fae contracts?
Oh, not a good thing. You shouldn't enter into those.
Why?
Well, the Fae are tricky. They like tricks, and they like knowing things, and it depends on the Fae, but they're kind of a breed of their own, where they just kind of do what they want. Why? I mean, I know there's some Fae and things around, but...
A friend of mine accidentally entered a pact
Oh.
with a Fae, and we're trying to help her.
Well, what are the terms of the pact? That's an important part of knowing maybe what you need to do to fulfill that.
Well, as far as I know, my friend said that the pact was fulfilled, but she lost her shadow.
Seems a bit odd. Was it a direct pact, or I guess how was this made? Was there terms that were agreed upon?
It was a sentence agreement of keeping someone safe for one night, and it was followed through.
But you kind of see the wheels turning in his head as he's thinking about maybe what kind of pacts or things that he's seen or Fey Lords. He's kind of thinking and thinking and thinking. Well, did you make the deal with the person or the Fae?
I didn't make the deal. It was my friend.
Well, I thought he was just like, well, I meant your
Asking for a friend.
Yeah, and he genuinely meant it as like, did you like as in did they? But he's like, oh, right, them, your friend, of course. Did they make it with the person or the Fae?
There wasn't a direct line of contact. It was done through writing.
The Fae are tricky creatures when it comes to text. You have to be very specific in your wording. If there wasn't an exact deal made, it could be bent and twisted in a lot of different ways. Maybe try contacting the Fae that the deal was made with.
Is there a way of breaking or reclaiming your name if the Fae has your name?
I mean, I'm sure there are. I haven't dealt with it directly, but that doesn't mean there isn't. It's just a matter of...
Yeah, neither have I. No, I'm just kidding.
I like the
Raven
idea
just kind of
that...
rolls her eyes
I
at
like
this
the
point.
idea that Talus actually winks like that, and he just can't see it. He has no idea what the context of that sentence is. He's like, right. There are ways, I'm sure. You would just have to discuss the terms of the contract with the Fae that it was made with and potentially fulfill on that. Is the best I could offer your friend.
Okay. It's valid information. Valuable if better than nothing. Thank you. I will let my friend know.
I'm sure. I know there's people who have dealt with the Fae in Orlok. I know some of the adventurers have a little more skill than I, so maybe ask them when you're up there. I have only had one interaction with one, and it was friendly enough, I suppose.
I'm happy.
Could you give us a name of who maybe we could ask in said town?
Any of the
Former?
founders of the Adventurers Guild would be more than happy to help you, I'm sure.
Okay.
Forwood.
Is there anything else?
Thanks.
you want to ask?
Elka is not it.
No.
Okay.
It's only every day.
Okay, perfect. Anybody else? Is there anything else you'd like to ask?
My fat ass became
Not that I can think of.
Alright, I just figured I'd ask.
Yeah.
Once Talus is done, Raven goes back to like asking and chatting away and asking what creatures he's seen and if there's anything else in the woods that we should be aware of besides owlbears.
Oh. Is that something you ask?
Yeah, she is fully of like once Talus is done, just like and then realizing being like, oh, like if you're like vaguely around this area, like obviously there's owlbears. Like, is there something else we could, be aware of that potentially is lurking in the forest that we could potentially come across?
Well, depending on which way you go, if you go towards the lakes and the back into Candoria, there's things that are there, like
What kind of things?
This is gonna sound a little weird, but back in Candoria on one of the lakes, let's see, back on, as he's thinking which lakes this possibly be in his many years of travel, back in Candoria, in one of the lakes, I think that it's the, over by the Consort's Islands, somewhere back in there. No, as he realizes. It's Vivian.
At this point, like Raven's like waving over Rad and melting like maps at him.
He doesn't even take the map out. He just goes, "Could you be thinking of Vivian Lake?"
That one, Vivian Lake. Yeah, there's something over there. There's a lady in a lake.
Oh my gosh.
Have I
A
heard
lady?
of this lady in the lake?
So, roll me a history check.
Oh, I always do this, and I suck at history
Roll me a
checks,
history check
man.
anyways.
Lady in the
Can I roll one too, or
Absolutely,
just
this
Rad?
is for all of you if you want.
I got a 15.
15? Okay, yeah, not bad.
Nat 20, so 23 in total.
Ooh. Alright.
go.
That's fine. The person that lived there just not.
What'd you get? What everybody else get? If you want to roll, of course. You don't have to if that's not something you want.
4. I rolled trash. Cersei knows nothing.
It's like it's not coastal.
Yeah,
So she's
it's
like,
not a
like,
coastal thing,
cool.
sorry.
I don't know anything else. Like, awesome. Freshwater. Got you.
Those freshwater fish.
I am a fish. Okay,
I am not strong, I am fish.
so
makes sense. Yeah.
there's a lady in a lake. She's unlike anything I'd ever seen in any of my other travels. She's got white hair, white skin,
Yeah, just
beautiful,
look at the table right here beside the door.
pure black eyes, red lips, silvery in her hair, and she was dressed in blues and purples. And I only saw her for a glimpse, but she came out of the water just radiant and unearthly. She kind of saw us and didn't say anything, and then we moved on because we didn't want to deal with whatever that was, but she's over there. I don't know if she's still there. This was years ago. But she might still be there, so just something to keep an eye out for.
Oh,
Do you think it was a person or a fae, maybe?
I think it was a fae, but unlike any fae I have ever seen before.
And she came straight out of the water.
Straight out the water, like she had been living there.
Like, mermaid?
No, I've seen mermaids. Not at all. She was much prettier than that.
All right, then now we know mermaids exist in this world.
She then looks at Cersei and goes, water genasi?
No.
Didn't know as well as I.
No, not the flowy,
Oh.
not the flowies.
Oh,
As he's just like going like this, not flowy, different kind of. I don't know. It was weird, but plus I've never seen any creature with just the pure black eyes that they did.
That is
Did
odd.
she seem hostile or just?
Oh no,
curious?
she didn't come near us at all. We didn't dare approach her either. But
Well, good thing to note. And
Yeah.
does Raven recognize any of this?
so you rolled me an at 20.
Yeah.
Yes. Perfect. Okay, so you have heard tales of a lady in a lake. A lady dressed in blues and
That's
purples
actually really
with
good.
gowns that shimmer like water themselves as they give heroes and knights and myths of legend weaponry out of thin air.
Weapons?
And that resonates with you because you remember a tale of a knight having received a sword from a lady in a lake.
Okay. See this little box?
Raven gets very excited.
I love it so much.
Beautiful lady in a lake who
This
gives
myth
out
is
weapons.
so-
I think she might be in love.
I was about to say. Forget all other NPCs, it's this one.
Well, no, I was like, well, Raven
Imperial
does
water beauty.
women who give out weapons.
Women with swords.
Yeah, you
Women
work
with
with the
swords.
pirates.
I was about to say, there's Yuna.
There's Una. Yeah.
Hmm?
Water women with swords. Got you. We know what type.
But yeah, there's that. I don't know. Kandoria is a weird forest.
Fine, weird.
There's just so much in so little space.
What else have you heard about the Kandoria?
That was
What
that.
have you heard about Kandoria?
What?
Kind of turning in the direction of where Ralliford's voice is coming up from.
I've heard a tale or two, but it is always interesting to hear different things from other people.
I've heard tales of dryads and ladies in lakes and fae-like creatures. Types of things that aren't normally everywhere else. Welcome in, Grim Songbird, and your lovely raid. We love you all very much. Hi, we love you guys.
Oh, before you-
Aw, I love you all so much.
pick up
Is that the gospel?
I'm waving at that.
Is that my? Are those my bats?
So you get the
I've heard tales of dryads and pixies and things of all creatures and manners of
You don't have
size.
enough yet? Yep.
Like there potentially is like a portal to another world there.
Maybe. That
I have
would
a
make
question.
so much sense.
Is that what it was?
Is the blue crystal on? I know it's like on our player's map, but is it
Yes.
on the map that we have as? You
So
like,
oh, thank you, sir.
Oh my god!
Thank you,
Oh,
sir.
that's so sweet.
I love it, sir, so much. You're
Aw.
very sweet. Aw. So the map that you all have with that blue crystal, when Mia gave it to you back in Asmar, it had that blue crystal on it.
Mhm.
But she didn't know exactly what it was. Because when Ezekiel saw that you had a map with that blue crystal on it, he
Yeah, I
was
was just about to-
baffled about the fact that she had found it.
Right.
He'll mention something like that in the forest. I've not heard of anything like that before, so
This means if we're diligent.
it could be a recent occurrence.
did on our we have a map. And she'll describe the map, and she goes, in Kindoria, there is a blue crystal-like object. Have you come across, either in Kindoria or maybe somewhere else, of blue crystals that might be connected to the Fae?
No, I mean not
Cutting trees.
recently, not in any recent memories of mine.
I have a question for the DM.
Yes. Ask
The way that
question.
the Lady of the Lake was described,
Yes.
would it be a reasonable assumption to think that it sounds very similar to Lilum Venet?
Ooh, interesting.
Oh.
But no, it does not.
Okay.
It was a very good theory, though. Like I was like, oh, no.
I was just confirming because, like,
so-
that's what she sounds like, except she doesn't have black eyes. But
The
if that's
race that was just described is not a race any of you have ever seen.
okay.
I don't know if you've even seen it in any other games because it is an older race. It is, I believe, a 3.5 race.
Oh god.
So
Ooh. Ye old D&D days.
yes. So
I forgot to eat one.
Huh.
But you think the back to Raven turns back to Arvis and goes, but you think maybe like something, there could be a portal to somewhere else that would explain why you said there was so much crammed into such a small space, that could be a possible explanation?
it wouldn't be far-fetched. I mean, there's magical creatures all the time. I mean, I literally smelled something burning, and I'm pretty sure that was the owlbear.
Yes.
Raven, to put into perspective of how many
Me too.
things Candoria could possibly have, I haven't even seen all of them, and I've lived there for so long. And there are things that I hear of that are new almost every day. When Ezekiel mentioned that there could be a portal to the Fae in there, I had never heard of it.
And the trolls made no sense where we
I
saw
don't-
The
them.
trolls made zero sense of what they were doing on the other side of the map.
They should have been over in the obscurity.
But Marvis, you've never heard, have you gone through or found a portal yourself, or no?
Oh, no, we didn't mess with any of that.
She's gonna look at the rest of the party and goes, we found one. Who's to say there isn't more?
Probably is.
Which would then explain things like trolls and places they shouldn't be.
Well, they were being transported. Kind of nefariously looking, but they were being transported.
But what if they were transported because they made it through another portal from someplace, and that was the quickest route, or the whatever route they were taking him on?
Why would someone be opening portals? I doubt they're just opening on their own.
Well, wasn't Ezekiel looking at Feywild?
I think he had an interesting curiosity of his own for that.
Something doesn't feel right. Something feels amiss, like someone's been messing around with the world.
Probably.
I mean, yeah, we're definitely not where we should be.
On the
Based
other
on-
side of the map?
I mean,
Are we
can
absolutely
always go
sure
back.
which direction we're going?
What happened to the
No.
original plot of the movie?
I have no idea, Ivy. Pray tell.
Where are we going?
What are you
It's
talking about? It's going exactly the plan.
Wahahaha.
I don't think
way-
it's a mystery that we can solve in just one day. It
Do
might
we have a way to contact Ezekiel?
Well, if you want to, I could send a send-in, but I don't know.
Well, we could get to Orluk. And again, Adventuring Guild,
They might
They'll
have
have-
better answers.
yeah, they might have better luck than we can on our own. Because I think he'd want to know about what we just experienced.
Probably.
He was looking for ways to the Feywild, and
There's a lot of questions that we all have. I don't know if they're going to be answered anytime soon.
Sorry, Marvis, for like dumping a whole lot on you.
He seems genuinely to be enjoying the company of you all, as it looks like he's reminiscing a little bit about his old party.
Yeah.
He's kind of sitting there enjoying the fact that you all are talking through things as you're just relaxing for a second. After being dragged by a snail from an owlbear. Which is quite the sentence.
Gives up on life, gets attached to a snail. Snail is running from a bear, falls off the snail, is dragged by the snail, and is now
Here.
playing catch up while we try to clean off his poor self.
Yeah.
Redolfer's pretty much done by now with the pelt, right?
Yes. This whole
Okay.
time you've been kind of while listening to the conversation and welcome in.
There's so many people, heck.
So
Hey. Hello, guys. So Marvis has, to reiterate, been dragged through the dirt by a snail after being chased by an owlbear. We've killed the owlbear. We've skinned the owlbear. You're sitting by a lake. Just learned a little bit more about some weird portals opening up with the Feywild. What else is there? If there's anything while you're standing next to this pond that you would like to do?
Yeah, I was gonna walk over. I was just gonna change the topic basically and sit in front of Marvis.
Okay.
Marvis, you've traveled Kandoria, correct?
Best I can. In my younger days, I did a lot of hiking.
And obviously the sight problems are recent, correct?
As his smile fades and drops from his mouth a little bit. Thus, they are recent. Yes.
Alright, then from your seeing days before in your younger days, did you ever find yourself in running across any wolf kind?
I run across them every now and again. They're not so common anymore, as he has not yet realized that Rattleford is a wolf kind.
Raven like described him.
There's that.
He doesn't quite realize because it has been so long since he's seen a wolf kind.
The last time that you ran across a wolf kind, was it in Kandoria?
Yeah, I think it was years and
How-
years and years ago. Like,
How many years ago can you think of?
I'm an old man now. Maybe 100? Maybe 100 years ago. Give or take a little bit.
Would you like to reminisce on that then? And I will give out my paws and reach for his hands.
He'll hearing like the shift of your fur as it rubs against the others, and you putting your hands out and gently taking his. He'll kind of very gently put his hands and place them in yours. As
Oh,
he gets,
before I did this, I prestidigitationed all the blood off.
Of
I am-
course. Of
Right.
course.
Technically.
From where you've skinned your prized owlbear. And he'll slowly just put his hands over the pads of yours. As he goes and kind of moves his fingers gently against your paws.
Toby.
Oh.
I'll bring his hands to my face because the face is more.
Yeah, you do so. And he kind of gently feels around, like up to your ears a little bit, just kind of feeling, and gets a soft smile. Oh, there's some of you left.
Been a very long time, hasn't it?
Very long time, as he'll gently lower his hands, kind of giving you one last little scritch on the cheek as he puts his hands down. It's been so long.
Very long. Well, I thought that it would be nice to, since you did travel in those parts long ago, to be re-met with one that is from there, at least.
Well, I'm glad there's someone left. It reached a couple of years of what happened. My apologies.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
The
What's
fire.
reached? How did you hear of that?
With that, he gets a quizzical look as he kind of assumes where your face is and looks up at you. He's like, "Well, it spread. People heard what happened. Not many of us, mostly adventurers that had traveled the area, but the remnants of what had happened, prevalent, to say the least."
I did not know word had reached out.
Not many of us.
I like when that happened, you slow.
Did you visit the wolf kind at all, or was it just in passing?
I passed through once or twice. You all were very hospitable to me when I passed through. It was only the outskirts. I would never came in or anything like that, but
Headache on a stick.
they seemed happy.
They were.
Goodbye, Chloe.
I'm sorry.
Will not be missed.
It's not a very known area, so it's just surprising to me that people even heard that there was.
Very
Such an instance.
few adventurers heard of what happened, and it was kept very under wraps as to not disrespect anyone's memories.
I appreciate that.
Alright.
And Rattlefur will stand up, slowly, without having to startle the poor blind man.
The poor blind man with blind rot. With
Poor
sight rot.
man.
Shall we continue moving? I don't think it is too far off from here on out. I believe the snails have gotten a good rest, as have I.
You see Valley over there happily napping with a piece of lettuce sticking out of his mouth. As our lovely trail snails are just enjoying
Yum, nom,
the
nom, nom.
rest. Nom 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 nom. Nom 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 nom. Nom 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 nom
Cersei's is like happily munching on his cabbage.
nom.
Just feeding it one leaf at a time, like, here you go.
Enjoy the cabbage.
You're the best trail snail ever. You're the best trail snail ever.
The words of affirmation to the snail. Cersei, do you, because I've not had given you the chance, want to, at any point, examine Marvis any farther?
Yeah, I should probably kind of try to give him a checkup as trying to help him clean up and everything. Just kind of be like, okay, how bad of a situation are you? How
Okay.
how is the sight rot progressing? All that kind of stuff. Just trying to give him a quick little once over. When he's distracted with Val, just kind of like basically being tip doctor, like, okay, checkup. How are you? Where are you?
Gotta do a
How
quick
much?
checkup. Okay.
Yeah, Raven at this point is like full on like nurse attendant of like anything Cersei is saying. If she's like writing notes down or like helping her out.
Okay. So,
I guess I should jump.
as you're examining, will you please roll me a medicine check?
I will do just that. Check. That's so good. Plus medicine. Oh, that is heckin' so good. That's 25.
25.
Yeah.
So,
I know medicine, kids.
I know that. So you're examining him at first, making
Proper
sure
shit, doctor.
you're kind of at first making sure, like starting from the legs up, making sure that when he was dragged, you see a lot of bumps and bruises and scars from where Jack of Rocks may have hit his legs or and his thighs and his arms and his shoulders. Nothing looks too serious as you're kind of examining because you knew he was unconscious. Little bit of a concussion, but nothing that can't be fixed.
Can't make a bonfire.
But
Okay.
as you're kind of moving around to the front to face him and look in his eyes, you start to think about it. As you're like, okay, I've seen a lot of different types of disease when I was on the ship. There's a lot of things that I've handled. There's a lot of things I've helped treat. You
Right.
start thinking about it a little more now that you've had the chance to calm down and it's tranquil and serene. and you realize
Yeah, because
sight rot can be cured with lesser restoration,
It took like 10.
Uh-huh.
which is just a little thing that you remember. Oh, we have a hydrant. I'm gonna drink coffee because I can.
Yeah, and then
I ran out.
Of coffee?
No.
Oh, water.
Of coffee?
I don't have that right now for today.
You don't, but it's something you file away.
Definitely.
That possibly there's a chance to save his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you vocalize this to Raven at all?
Not right now. She doesn't want to
Okay.
mention it. Because if things don't work out and it doesn't work, she doesn't want to raise hope.
Okay.
Only for it to be crushed. So she's gonna just kind of lock that away, like.
So you're able to examine them. That is what you're able to glean from a very perfect roll. I was very glad that you were able to get that finally.
wow, this
So,
year.
Very good roll.
Perfect.
That is
Very good.
No.
JD, it's only because I'm gonna drink coffee. I need more coffee. Is there anything else that you, as a group, would like to do before you head out?
Raven is going to politely talk to Marvis and ask of whether he'd like to have his legs strapped in. Like, how would he like to mount this? Would he like to ride on the snail with her so she can, we can chat and she can do the driving and he can just like hold on? She feels very bad about it.
Just put me on the snail and I've got it this time. I know I've got it. As he kind of like will start blindly walking towards the snail. Oh, honey. As he trips and stumbles a little bit into the snail and then climbs on.
Bastard.
Okay, I'm gonna ride the snail right beside you. We can keep chatting about adventuring and your ranger days. I'd love to hear more about that. And she will literally position herself beside him.
Cersei quietly
And, like,
goes up to,
Look at Valley and
goes
like
up beside him, so he's hemmed in.
Valley at this point, Raven at this point is going to then, since she'll get her spell slots back, you speak with animal with this. Which snail does Marvis climb back on? Same one he was on?
Same one he was on, yes.
Okay, she's going to use speak with animal to communicate with the snail that he's on
Okay.
and basically go with, hey, like explain that he doesn't have a sight, so try and make sure that it takes the smoothest
Are you
route.
making a seeing eye snail?
Yes, she is trying to basically coach or tell the snail the whole situation because she wants Marvis to have the best experience because she feels so guilty.
Okay, so you're able to communicate with the snail as it will move its eye stalks back and forth in these weird Morse codes since it doesn't really talk, and confirm its understanding as the rest of the ride for Marvis is nice and smooth, and you're able to continue on without too much issue. Rutherford, you have loaded on the rest of the owlbear pelts, and you're able to take that with you.
Did they?
That is not an issue at all. You're able to take it. Anybody want to do anything else?
Rattlefur remains silent throughout the rest of the trip.
Okay. Take out parchment, anything like that, or just quiet?
He's just quiet.
Just quiet? Okay. Perfect. Talus, Cersei, anything else you guys want to do?
I need Coraline for what I want to do.
I was about to say, I know you need Coraline for part of what you would like. So, Cersei, anything from you?
No, just keeping on the other side so that hemmed in as best as possible, and kind of just along with Raven, just kind of small talking, just trying to keep him mentally occupied.
Oh, yeah, you get him
Right.
talking about all kinds of random things, so he's very well preoccupied.
Yeah.
Oh, since we're doing this, Raven is going to try and encourage Cersei to, and she'll look at her and go, oh, well, you must have many tales from the sea, and I know we haven't had a chance to have heard them, and I'd love to jot a few down if you want to enlighten us with a few tales of the ocean.
I'm not as good of a storyteller as you seem to be.
Yep.
Talking about Rad, but we can talk a little bit about my time on the sea. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will let you choose what embellishment you would like to give to Cersei's backstory of what type of creature you may have faced at one point.
God, that
Creature we
sounds
might have
so
faced at one point.
Yes.
Ooh.
Moby Dick.
Of course! Of course.
Huh.
I fought an Obscurus shark one time. They have like
Oh my god, you just said
split,
it
they
like
have
this!
split mandibles, so they chew like this.
Baby shark.
I will leave!
Bye.
You get disadvantage on your next performance.
All you hear is Raven and a Tapper.
Baby shark.
I think Cersei would tell of while going along the coast. At one point, they would have moved out further into the sea to avoid a storm, and they would have actually seen off in the distance hippocampi, kind of just like leaping and galloping in their own way, and just trying to describe just like this herd of them moving through, and how they had tried to like catch up with them to kind of like see like, oh my gosh, this is so cool, let's try to check them out. But then eventually the captain and Marin are like, okay kids, we're actually have to get back to actual business, we have a time frame to meet.
Wait, what did you guys run across?
Hippocampi.
What frick is that?
Griffin and
They are horse fronts and then fish backs. They are Greek mythos. So she was very
enthralled and
genuine
writing
about
this all down.
Yo, those are dope!
They're so freaking cool.
Perfect. So,
I feel like in that story they would have been like, Cersei, get in the water, try to ride one, and then she's like, they had her like half dangle down when the captain and everything was like, no, we're not doing this.
Petition to have Cersei have a hippocampus as a mount someday.
so
Raven is like fully like
Everyone-
wanting more and more details. She's like, and
then. So eventually, while we're nearing the end of sessions for this evening, because we are missing Coraline, and I know that we have all had a long week, both with Gen Con and everything else in our lives, Marvis will actually ask to fall back for a second to speak to Rattleford. Like, okay, I want to talk to Rattleford, and go ahead.
that's fine. Cersei, so about these. Now, what color were they?
And as you do, Marvis's snail falls into a stroll next to Rattleford's. And Marvis will kind of look over where they presume Rattleford is as best they can, since their eyesight is so poor. And we'll look over
To the boat.
and just say, they'll be okay. But
There's something shiny in the water.
there's something I need to tell just you.
Yep.
I feel that you deserve to know this.
It was a club.
And he'll kind of bring his snail to a halt, indicating for you to do the same. Do you do so?
Be free.
Ralford? Are you stopping?
Yeah, I don't know
You're
why
fine.
it didn't pick
You're
up.
fine.
Yes.
I just want to make sure. And he'll kind of turn in the saddle to face you,
That's the slow
And-
our enemies.
just tell you
And trust me,
there was
we have
one
a lot of
survivor.
enemies.
Do you know what they looked like?
I know that they were male. I know that
No.
they were
Yeah.
young. I don't know who they were, but I feel that you should know. I don't know where they've gone. I've only seen them ever once, but I feel you may need to know that.
You said you've seen them once. Do you remember any markings or
Tall,
clothing?
black fur, no distinctive markings, just dark.
We just separate.
And Ralford,
But if we do
you're
that,
thinking
we
back
just have
to that night. You're thinking back to the people that were in your tribe. And you remember there was a very young, much younger than you, a child wolf that had recently been birthed to one of the females of your tribe.
Hey, well,
That description rings a bell to you.
Corridor.
And you would know that they're much younger than you are,
Oh, hey, Lucy.
but that description is familiar.
That poor child.
I know not of what became of him, but I feel you should have known, just in case. He may have ended up somewhere in the mountains with the rest of them, the wolf kind that dwells in the mountains.
We've
But
had relations with them before. It's very rare for us to go and visit, but it is written in tales and history of the other clan that lives there. I hope he got there. That was... No child should ever have to go through that.
I feel no one should have been able to go through that. Child or otherwise.
He has this look that obviously Marvis can't see, but it's basically this look of like, if only you knew. I appreciate you telling me that because that was my tribe. But there's two of us somewhere.
Which would mean there's a chance you have a tribe.
I sincerely doubt that, but if he could have found his way to the others in the mountains, then I would hope and pray to Selune that he got there. I've traveled this, at least that side of the country, all the way over to Damor, and I've never run across him. So my guess is he fled the other way.
He gets a quizzical look as he furrows his brows. He's like, what are you looking for?
Wait, don't go.
Traveling that far is a long distance.
Yeah.
Something related yet unrelated. There is someone that I know that has a curse upon them, and I'm trying to figure out how to keep them that way. Because it is their wish. But through my travels and what's not, I've not run across any other wolf kind. Unfortunately. At least for that entire side of the country.
Well, when I come across anybody that might know, I'll keep an ear out.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We can move ahead now. I know your friends are probably getting further ahead as you can hear like the slow pitter-patter of the snails as they continue onwards. But come on, let's go. As he like does a little click with the reins as the snail starts trotting forwards again to catch up to the rest of its group.
While Marvis is trying to catch up, Rattleford doesn't try to catch up at all. He just goes at a snail's pace.
Oh my god.
I had to, I'm sorry.
It took you let's see, we've only been playing for 2.5 hours. It took long enough for a pun. Alright, before we end session, is there anything else you'd like to do before you get to Orluk? Because if we have all of our players next week, you will be there. Or not next week, next game. My apologies.
Also,
Anything
I
else?
did miss the 4-figure into the post.
That's a good heart to heart. How hard to top that?
Alright, perfect. So, we will end session there for the evening. We will be back in 2 weeks, hopefully with a full cast of players as we get to Orluk, which is the founder's birthplace of the Adventuring Guild. And so that game is going to be full of adventurers of all types. It'll be full of intrigue and I'm sure so much lore dumping because you all are going to ask so many questions of my poor NPCs. and
Know it.
possibly a meeting with the Loyal Steel's old cleric if you can find her. So, we'll see. But we are going to go raid someone. So I think this evening we're going to go and raid. Let's see who's around real quick. let's go raid here. But
Are the best snails.
Trail Snails with best snails. Shout out to Jackophobia, who wrote Adventuring with Pride, of which the Trail Snail is actually from. They are currently working on their second Adventuring with Pride. The Kickstarter was fully funded back during Pride Month, which is actually the party that had originally used these in one of the one-shots I ran. So, I am going to... I was going to say, Val actually just lost their computer and their internet, so it works out fine. But, shout out to Jackophobia. Our next big project is the Rolling for Charity annual charity stream, our 24-hour charity stream in November. You can see all of us doing some part of it, I'm sure. So, keep an eye out for that, and we are going to go raid because they are playing, we're only going to do this once, which is a really fun show of theirs, and we're going to go show them some love. Thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you for all the raids. You guys are wonderful. Good night!